5 of the 2018 FIM Sidecar World Championship comes from Assen in the Netherlands. The annual Dutch round is the best attended on the calendar, and the competitors enjoy their high-speed and action-packed visits to the historic Cathedral of Motorcycling. A trip to the Pannonia Ring for the Hungarian round marked the mid-season phase with the fourth of 7 race weekends. Reeves and Wilkes were the team to beat with just 10 drop points from the first 5 races, and despite defeat in qualifying, they quickly asserted their dominance in the sprint race. After an underwhelming start from 5th on the grid, Blackstock and Rosny did well to battle back in the pack behind the breakaway lead trio. The number 95 outfit, who scored their first points of the campaign at the Sachsenring, continued to make up for lost time in Hungary. A lap 2 error from Laurie and Fairhurst promoted their fellow countrymen back up to 5th. And from there, Blackstock and Rosny hunted down Stroyer and Rousseau for 4th position, finally making a pass on the last turn of the last lap to snatch the position, and held on in a nose-to-tail finish to record their best result of the 2018 season so far. At the front of the field, Reeves and Wilkes had been untroubled, finishing almost 4 seconds clear as they further extended their championship lead with a 4th victory in the 6th race of 2018. Ben and Tom Birchall dropped out of realistic contention for a 3rd World Championship crown as they failed to score in the gold race. Problems had started before the action even got underway as they wrestled with a long-standing electrical problem in the warm-up. And when they did eventually take to the track, they could manage just 2 laps before they were forced back to the pit lane and out of the race. Pyverinta and Veravainen were the main beneficiaries as they were released to challenge Reeves and Wilkes for top spot, finally making a pass to overhaul the series leaders on lap 7. Reeves and Wilkes may well have had the pace to recover, but their determination to find a way back through swiftly led them to a dramatic turn 10 spin that beached them in the gravel and changed the complexion of the race. Now coming through from the back of the field and eating up a mammoth 35 seconds to wildcards Palm and Mayes, number 77 put in a damage limitation ride to claim 10th. Challenging race for 2 of the top 3 in the series standings created a new podium battle. Blackstock and Rosny had been duelling with Stroyer and Rousseau throughout the weekend. In the gold race, their fight was now over seconds. Gaining revenge for their last bend defeat in the sprint race, Stroyer and Rousseau carved their way through on the final lap of the gold race to take the runner-up spot, with only their 2nd podium finish of the campaign. There was no catching Pyverinta and Veravainen at the head of the field as they claimed victory by a mammoth 39-second margin, in the process slashed 19 points from their championship deficit. Arriving in the Netherlands with 4 2018 races remaining, Reeves and Wilkes have an 11-point lead at the top of the standings. Their perennial rivals, Ben and Tom Birchall, now 35 points adrift of Pyverinta and Veravainen in 2nd. Meanwhile, Stroyer and Rousseau have claimed and consolidated 4th position after a successful Hungarian round. Arriving in Assen after a 5-week summer break, there were plenty of talking points in the FIM Sidecar paddock. The most significant piece of news, a retrospective disqualification for Pyverinta and Veravainen from round 3 at the Sachsenring for an irregularity with their fuel samples that shook up the championship points and rankings. With 36 points lost, the Finns dropped to 3rd in the standings. Ben and Tom Birchall gaining 4 extra points, having newly been promoted to the runner-up position at Germany's sprint race. After a non-scoring gold race in Hungary, though, the Birchall brothers were still searching for solutions in what's been a miserable campaign by their own high standards. And with 42 points to make up in just 4 races in the 2018 championship chase, only a late-season unbeaten stretch could keep them in realistic contention. Winners of 4 of the first 7 races, Reeves and Wilkes have hardly put a foot wrong, and even a 3rd-place finish in each of their remaining outings would be enough for them to secure the crown.
No, obviously now we have quite a substantial lead in the World Championship, so we've got to protect that. So, you know, we'd like to win. We'll try and win, but we'll be realistic about things. And if a podium's enough, then that's enough for us. You know, as long as if we finish the last few races on the podium, then that will be enough to secure the title. So that's that we have to use our head. We're not going to get into any sort of bashing match or anything. We just want to get some solid points and go to Croatia and still be in the lead.
Päivärinta and Verovainen were not alone in their infringement at the Sachsenring. Wissenenhofer and Rutzen Fries were also docked points and therefore dropped back in the classification. Sam and Adam Christie made the biggest gains as a result, collecting third place finishes from both sprint and gold races and therefore moving fifth overall. The second of three standalone races in the 2018 FIM Sidecar World Championship, the Dutch Grand Prix, round 5 of the series, and the first back from the summer break. In front of over 100,000 fans, this is one they all want to win. Some extra prestige at the most famous circuit on the calendar. The worst qualifying of the season for championship leaders Reeves and Wilkes, restricted to third as Ben and Tom Birchall claim their 4th pole in 5 2018 starts. Home favourite Benny Stroyer lines up on the second row of the grid alongside the returning Holden and Kane in their first World Championship race since Slovakia in May. Vance and Christie also make a welcome return to the grid after mechanical problems forced them out in Hungary. A 15-outfit grid then in Assen. Emmanuelle Clément of France makes her World Championship debut. A new passenger for Scott Lorry on the number 72 machine. They start on row 5 in 11th position. Lights out on the 2018 Dutch Sidecar Grand Prix. Solid start from Ben and Tom Birchall from pole. A brilliant getaway for Fownes and Christie from 10th in the pack. Reeves and Wilkes tucked onto the inside line into turn 1, and Stroyer and Russo go all the way around the outside for third. Side by side up front, Päivärinta and Verovainen with an inside pass on turn 2. They now hold the shorter route around the northern loop and take the lead. So underwhelming starts from the top 2 in the championship, and it's the Flying Finns up in front. Fownes and Christie up in 6th position. 4 places made up on the opening turns. Blackstock and Rosny slow away, now trying to get back on terms as they fly onto the Vainslang for the first time then. Ben and Tom Birchall tucked right in behind Päivärinta and Verovainen. With the momentum as well, look to the inside into turn 6, and through they go to restore their lead. Swift as you like from the Birchall brothers to hit the front. Reeves and Wilkes also moving into attack mode, so the front row's 2 slow starters restoring grid order among the lead quintet. Reeves and Wilkes back to 3rd position ahead of Stroyer and Russo. Blackstock and Rosny have recovered as well. They now run 6th. 7th, Fownes and Christie. 8th, Wissenenhofer. Good start for Laurie and Clément in 9th. Rems and Mulholland rounding out the top 10. We're with the fight for 3rd position. Reeves and Wilkes now ahead of Stroyer and Russo. Holden and Kane in 5th, dropping back slightly on this opening lap. Still very close between the top 2 as well. Päivärinta and Verovainen looking for their 2nd win of the campaign. Not allowing Ben and Tom Birchall to break here after their high-speed pass for the lead. In towards the main grandstand here in Assen to complete the opening lap. And it's Ben and Tom Birchall who lead us first time around. The top 6 in the order they started after the Brits pass for top spot. Päivärinta and Verovainen in 2nd. That looked like Sam and Adam Christie making a move on Rems and Mulholland for 10th. Not away well at all on the opening lap, the number 34 outfit. Closest group on track at the moment for 8th to 11th coming down the start-finish straight and into lap 2. Rems and Mulholland trying to repay the compliment down the inside. But they're held at bay. And now Grabmuller and Lavarelle come scything through for 11th. The gap half a second between the top 2 at the end of the opening lap then. Reeves and Wilkes a full second further back. But remember, 4 third places would be good enough for them to take the championship, so they certainly won't be getting desperate at this stage. And it looks as though they've closed back in on Päivärinta and Verovainen through the first sector here anyway. Coming towards turn 6 where the Finns were passed by Ben and Tom Birchall last lap. No way through there. Pekka Päivärinta then closing the door through the left-hander at turn 7. But despite their fast start, the number 44 outfit clearly don't have the speed to run at the front here. Ben and Tom Birchall starting to break away. Tim Reeves will be keen to get past the Honda outfit ahead of him swiftly before the leaders build too much of an advantage. 9/10 of a second faster than Päivärinta and Verovainen, the number 77 was, through the first sector alone. But for the moment, their progress has been halted in 3rd position. 2 5-time world champions going head-to-head here, Pekka Päivärinta and Tim Reeves, closing through the kink at turn 13, in towards the Ram's Hook. Very few hard-braking areas to make a pass, and Reeves and Wilkes have to settle back into 3rd, ahead of the Geert-Timmer curve. Ben and Tom Birchall have pulled away nicely here. You can see their buffer over Päivärinta and Verovainen. A gap behind the provisional podium positions then to Stroyer and Russo, who sit fourth, with Holden and Kane attempting to hunt them down. A 1:44.4 from Ben and Tom Birchall on lap 2, less than half a second from qualifying pace as they really put the hammer down. A 1.5 second gap now over Päivärinta and Verovainen, with Reeves and Wilkes held behind them. Päivärinta working hard through the northern loop, crucial to get a good run off turn 5 and onto the Vainslang. Seen a couple of passing opportunities present themselves there already this afternoon. Reeves and Wilkes wide around to Strubben, building up their momentum for a run, tucking on to the tail of Päivärinta and Verovainen, who look exposed here to me. They were close to making this move a lap ago, and this time they may just be able to pull it off. Reeves and Wilkes become the second outfit to pass Päivärinta and Verovainen through turn 6, and the Finns drop to third. Now Reeves and Wilkes are released to chase for the win. Exactly the same move that Ben and Tom Birchall made on lap 1. Reeves and Wilkes with the slipstream and a strategic line on turn 5, a higher top speed down the straight, blasting through for seconds. 11 laps remaining here in Assen for round 5 of the 2018 FIM Sidecar World Championship, and it's Ben and Tom Birchall who lead, but only just. Reeves and Wilkes have chipped away at an early 2-second advantage for the reigning world champions, and now sit right on their tail on the back straight, today's favoured passing place. Too far back to challenge on turn 6 surely, but they've still got plenty of momentum. Barrelling down the inside, Reeves and Wilkes with a block pass. Ben and Tom Birchall were not expecting that and had left the door wide open. Reeves and Wilkes from 4th to 1st here in Assen, and having gained 2 seconds in 4 laps, appear to have the outright pace as well. Can the Birchall brothers respond? Well, not immediately. They find themselves in P2 for the second time in this race, fighting to get back through for track position at the head of the field. Here's the move again. Ben and Tom Birchall going to the outside of the track, the standard racing line. Reeves and Wilkes wide on turn 6, gave themselves the inside ground through the left-hander. The Birchall brothers having to kill their own speed on the apex with the number 77 outfit right there. Great passing move for the race lead here in the Netherlands, but Ben and Tom Birchall have not given up and are still as close as they come towards the end of lap 7. These two perennial rivals have so often come to blows, so many direct confrontations sharing a decade of track, and it's great to have them so evenly matched and fighting for top spot again. Ben and Tom Birchall in the slipstream, down the start-finish straight, just a 1/10 of a second back, clearly thought about a move, but couldn't quite get alongside, so Reeves and Wilkes hold on for the moment. Race leaders almost a second faster on lap 7, despite the time taken up making an overtaking manoeuvre. And it'll be interesting to see if they can carry that pace forward to break clear. They've already made significant improvements on their underwhelming qualifying times. Reeves and Wilkes setting the fastest lap of the weekend so far on lap 5. And these two duelling outfits have broken well clear of Päivärinta and Verovainen. The Finns now 4 seconds behind. Reeves and Wilkes seem to have the top-end advantage here in Assen. They're enjoying the TT circuit's high-speed nature. And you suspect that's going to make it hard for Ben and Tom Birchall to make a pass, even if they can close back in, as they have here into turn 8. Reeves and Wilkes holding the line, approaching half-race distance in fine weather conditions here in the Netherlands. A steady wind and only occasional light drizzle through this weekend. Reeves and Wilkes having to be a little conservative there, covering the inside down the straight. Tim even had a little look to see how close his rivals were. And they can't be shaken. Ben and Tom Birchall having a look down the inside around turns 10 and 11. Hardly a conventional passing place, but they've pulled completely alongside. Down towards the goal late turn, Ben and Tom Birchall have the inside here, but Reeves and Wilkes remain side by side and have track position into turn 14. The Birchalls still making their presence felt, bravely going the long way round into the Ram's Hook, seemingly blocked out, but showing again down the inside, and that's a brilliant move from Ben and Tom Birchall, through into the Geerttimmer curve to lead again at the end of lap 8. Reeves and Wilkes having to work far harder for this than anyone would have expected when they hit the front at the end of lap 7. Here they go again, this time down the inside into turn 1, really strong in the slipstream. But they do have to be wary because any potential spin or damage, remember back to Slovakia, or even as recently as Hungary, would be disastrous in the context of their championship lead. Päivärinta and Verovainen in third would be only too grateful for a second chance after their recent penalisation. But it's Reeves and Wilkes willing to go toe-to-toe with the Birchalls, who've now made 4 passing moves in this race to lead on lap 9. We cut away from the lead duo as they go nose to tail onto the Vainslang once again. Stroyer and Russo there alone down in fourth, but here they are, the leaders. Ben and Tom Birchall at their best by carrying their momentum out of the straights and through the turns. They'll be close into turn 8 as they were last lap, but any turn 10 move is not going to be a surprise this time, so how can they get back past? Tucked into the slipstream of Reeves and Wilkes into 9. No way through there. Following and waiting for a weakness, the Birchall brothers in second position. Any hopes of a championship resurgence surely rest on them winning, first here in Assen, and then in 2018's remaining 3 races. They're not close enough through 10 and 11, but are strong at the back end of this lap. Reeves and Wilkes with a little clear air, but not much of it, and this fight could well go the 17-lap race distance. Ben and Tom Birchall again close as they head towards the chicane. They were absolutely locked together here last lap. Not quite as tight on lap 9, but just like last time, the Birchalls taking the inside into turn 16, and once again it's going to be an inside block pass for the race lead. The leaders swapping and changing mercilessly in the mid-race phase. Ben and Tom Birchall are back in front. Reeves and Wilkes ducking out to the inside into turn 1. A little wiggle under braking, but they've made it stick. What wonderful racing between these two. This is exhibition stuff. And now impossible to call a winner of this race. Reeves and Wilkes it is who lead once again. They've only led 1 lap over the line so far. Ben and Tom Birchall sticking to them doggedly. 1:45.9 for both outfits on lap 9, so incredibly evenly matched. And while these two were scrapping with one another, Päivärinta and Verovainen actually gained on both by half a second last time around. Reeves and Wilkes stretching their legs a little on lap 10, this time down the Vainslang, able to pick their line without any fear. No defence of their position needed. There's Päivärinta and Verovainen, as I said, faster than the 2 lead outfits last time around. Wonder if it's just a question of them having managed their tyres better in the early stages and now starting to eat into the gap ahead. Ben and Tom Birchall back onto the tail of Reeves and Wilkes, so the race-leading buffer was short-lived. And as has been the case throughout this race, the Birchalls really fast from turn 7 to the end of the lap. Not able to use that speed on turns 10 and 11, where they made a pass for the lead earlier in the race. But again, closing on the run, down towards turn 15, where they've been running it wide and stealing the inside for the Geertzimer curve over the last couple of laps. They'll want to plot a similar move here. Reeves and Wilkes a little further ahead this time, but move across anyway to cover the inside line. Ben and Tom Birchall are going to try and go all the way around the outside. The pair touch. The Birchalls off the track altogether and lead. Tom Birchall not at all happy about that collision there. Tim Reeves looking over at his machine to check on Mark Wilkes and the state of his outfit. Damage to his side pod would be a disaster. The only thing that can derail Reeves and Wilkes in the remainder of this season would be a retirement. A dramatic collision on lap 10 here in Assen. Two seconds now cover the top 3, with time running out at round 5 of the 2018 FIM Sidecar World Championship. Päivärinta and Verovainen visibly closer as Reeves and Wilkes look for a way past Ben and Tom Birchall up front. They're as close as you like down the back straight, the Birchalls making themselves as wide as they can, defending against Reeves and Wilkes, but needing to be careful not to slow their pace too dramatically. They've got it covered through turn 6 and 7. It's probably the latter stages of the lap where they are strongest. Ben and Tom Birchall having led all but 1 lap so far, but they've got problems. A raised hand from Tom in the air. Reeves and Wilkes lead in Assen. Really slow off turn 8. That must be a mechanical issue. Päivärinta and Verovainen through as well. What a disaster for the team that's led the majority of this race. Will they be able to limp home to finish? Here it is again. Ben and Tom Birchall appear to have everything under control, chased by Reeves and Wilkes, and then suddenly, inexplicably, they slow mid-straight, and it's their direct rivals who take advantage. Ben and Tom Birchall still occupy 3rd position, but their problems are quite clearly not resolved. And they'll be extremely grateful just to keep things going and claim a podium place. Over 3 seconds now, they've dropped back from Reeves and Wilkes, but for now, a 24-second buffer protects them against Stroyer and Russo. More problems for the Birchalls, clearly prone. Tom with the hand raised again to warn oncoming traffic. That's the backmarker number 2 outfit, the wildcards Endeveld and Remay recovering a lap. And then suddenly power comes back for the Birchalls, and again they're off into the distance. A frustrating problem. but one they have been fighting throughout this 2018 season. Remember the disaster they had at the sprint race in Slovakia, and not much more luck at the gold race in Hungary either. Päivärinta and Verovainen still closing on Reeves and Wilkes, just 1.5 seconds back now. But unless they can get past Ben and Tom Birchall, will retain second in the standings, provided of course they can finish this race, which is far from a certainty. Mechanical problems have robbed us of what you sense would have been 3 epic laps between the top 2 duos, but take nothing away from Reeves and Wilkes. This has been yet another professional performance and another determined ride as well. It would have been easy enough for them to take second in the context of the championship, but they've given us a real race and are about to be rewarded for it. Through the Geert Timmer curve in front of packed grandstands, Reeves and Wilkes win in Assen. Their 5th victory of 2018, and a result that surely enables them to put one hand on the championship trophy as well. Ben and Tom Birchall, their nearest rival in the standings, keep their ailing machine going to claim 3rd behind Päivärinta and Verovainen, and Stroyer and Russo hold on, but only just ahead of the late charging Holden and Kane. Just one finish out of the top 2 all season long. Reeves and Wilkes recover from their worst qualifying of the campaign to put in another of their best rides. 25 points in the bag, and the title now just one more victory away. Another highly entertaining race in the 2018 FIM Sidecar World Championship. 3 of the grid's former champions occupying top spot at one stage or another. A crash, some mechanical dramas, plenty of overtaking, and the pole sitter ends up 3rd. What a treat this race, and indeed this season, have been.
Come on, son. Good run, man.
Close finishes right the way through the order, just 5 seconds separating 6th to 10th, and a separate duel for 11th. Gearbox problems in the latter stages of the race dropped Blackstock and Rosny from 6th, and they finished 3 laps down.
We had some electrical fault. It was intermittent. I'm not making excuses at all. It just kept cutting out on part throttle, so it became dangerous. I didn't know whether to pull in because it kept stopping, and I was worried about the other guys pulling in. But until that point, we was having a great race. But hey, I don't know what I have to do this year to win one of these. Well, I'm gutted, really. It's such a great event, and we've tried so hard to get this right for here, you know. But hey.
Well, we tried everything, but Reeves and Wilkes was too fast today, and Tom and Ben had a little problem with the engine, so we are pleased with the 2nd place.
I had to dig deep, and yeah, it came good. I'm over the moon, yeah. Chuffed a bit. Really happy.
The championship focus appears to turn towards the fight for the FIM silver and bronze, with Ben and Tom Birchall separated from Päivärinta and Verovainen by just a single point. 4th and 5th are looking increasingly settled, clear of a separate battle for 6th. Reeves and Wilkes extend their lead by a further 9 points, and with a total 51-point margin, now appear to have one hand on the trophy. The British pairing could afford to finish 7th in each of the 3 remaining races and still take the title. Our 2018 world champion could well be confirmed next time out in Croatia, ahead of the final round in Germany.